Hello, Nintendo fans. At today's investors meeting, Nintendo told analysts that they are currently looking into VR. Now, that may surprise you. It's kind of surprised me at first, but kind of not really. In the past year, Nintendo has kind of downplayed this VR movement that's going on, and actually Reggie Fils-Aimé at the last E3 said that VR is not fun and it is not social. And Mr. Miyamoto has shared similar sentiments that virtual reality does not match well with Nintendo's philosophy of having social gaming together in a living room. But Nintendo also talked at great lengths for a great number of years that they were not going to be pursuing mobile games because their philosophy was to basically develop exclusive games on their platforms, and they were worried that they would lose out on potential customers of their hardware if they allowed their IP to be used on non-Nintendo platforms. But they changed their tune on that. And I think that this is one of those things that at some point in the future, if it is successful, Nintendo will change their tune on it. And the fact is that if you look at Nintendo's history, they were actually the first to come out with a head-mounted display. They had in Japan actually 3D glasses for the original Famicom system, which was known as the Nintendo Entertainment System in North America. And they also came out with the Virtual Boy, which didn't do so well for them. So I think that maybe part of their lukewarm response to VR probably stems from the problems they had with the Virtual Boy. But if Nintendo is entering into the virtual reality space, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them do it at some point. I'm really excited about that because, in my opinion, nobody knows how to take advantage of a new control scheme, a new interface, as well as Nintendo. If you look at the history of gaming, I mean, Nintendo were the ones to come out with the plus sign D-pad, and they did a wonderful job programming games around that controller. They weren't the first to come out with a analog thumbstick, but then when Nintendo came out with it for the N64, they had the most amazing game to launch with an analog stick, which was Mario 64. And then on and on and on it goes. Really, Nintendo came out and showed the world how to make compelling touchscreen games with the DS, and then later on other developers saw what Nintendo was doing and made other DS games, and then that transferred over into the Apple iPhone and the iPad. And then again with motion games, I think we saw very clearly that Nintendo was a cut above any of the third parties in terms of making quality games, taking advantage of a new type of interface. So I think what virtual reality needs is Nintendo. I'm just not quite sold yet that Nintendo needs virtual reality as much as virtual reality needs Nintendo. But I think it would be really cool. One of the games that I would just love to see in virtual reality would be a Metroid Prime. Let's face it, I'd love to see a Metroid game of any kind that was a traditional Metroid game, not like what they've shown off from Metroid Prime Federation Force on 3DS. But could you imagine putting on a virtual reality helmet and basically being Samus in a gorgeous virtual world where you just look around, especially if it had the same quality of art style and artwork that we got in the Metroid Prime series. I think it would just be mind-blowing, and I think Nintendo would figure out how to make the best virtual reality experiences because that's what Nintendo does. So let me know in the comments below, do you think that Nintendo should pursue virtual reality again? Do you think that they should get in quickly, or should they take their time and maybe wait for it to take off and maybe wait for the technology to become a little bit cheaper? Once again, if you like this video, please click on like, and if you want to hear more from me, please click on subscribe.